That all ready? All right, here we go. We will now call the Plan Commission meeting of September 24th, 2024 to order. Roll call. Start with Steve.
All chair.
Ipchinsky here.
Gavich here.
Kuzikowski here.
Oldani here.
Chandler here.
Okay, that will get us to the minutes of August 27th, 2024. I will give you a few moments to take a look. There's no discussions, questions, errors, omissions. Motion, please.
Kuzikowski, will second.
Roll call beginning with Steve.
All aye.
Ipchinsky, aye.
Gavich, aye.
Kuzikowski, aye.
Oldani, aye.
Chandler abstains.
We will now do a review and discussion of recent common council actions. Christie?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to just give the abbreviated version. First, the Common Council adopted the text amendment for retail less than 50,000 square feet and warehouse storage less than 200,000 square feet to be a conditional use in the MLM, Light Manufacturing Zoning District. They adopted that ordinance and adopted the floodplain ordinance as directed by the DNR, and then also adopted the conditional use permit for Bliffert lumber for the outdoor storage on their property.
Okay. Get us to item 5, which is Board of Zoning and Housing Appeal actions. We currently have none. And item 6 is the quarterly Parks and Recreation Commission actions. We see that report October 22nd, later next month. That'll get us to new business in item 7A, and that's a review of site and related plans by Cheryl Black for Black Architects on behalf of Furlani Foods for the construction of an addition and various modifications for the property at 7350 South 10.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The applicant for Lani Foods is proposing some building additions and site improvements to the property. It is zoned M1 manufacturing, and this is just your basic site landscaping and architectural review. So first rendition before you shows the building additions. So first we will talk about, there's a 4,100 square foot insulated metal panel warehouse addition with 5 dock bays. And second, 672 square foot architectural, again, being constructed of insulated metal panel, compactor room, small addition with 2 dock bays. And then they are constructing an 8-foot high architectural wall with trees in front to basically screen the view from the street. And then the architectural addition of 3 flower silos on the north end of the building. So this is the street view. When you're driving past the facility on 10th Street, you'll see the new wall with the new landscape trees blocking the screen, blocking the view. And this is for safety reasons. Right now, the semi-trucks go through the staff parking lot. So the semi-trucks will no longer be able to use that particular driveway. They'll use the existing driveway to the south, which will create a much safer condition for the employees of the facility. So before you are the architectural elevations. So you have the west elevation, again, where the viewpoint from the street looking east. The south elevation where you can see the dock bays for the 2 additions. And this is consistent, the materials consistent with other additions that have been done to the building with the metal siding. And then the north elevation has the stainless steel flower silos. These are 12 feet in diameter and 42 feet high. And the picture at the bottom left of the screen is an example of what they will look like. There used to be silos here. If you go to Google Street View, I think it was 2011, there were 6 silos at this location at one point. They've been removed and so being replaced with 3 new silos. These are just a little more detailed, closer viewpoint of the building additions, and then the wall packs that will be on the building. You can see 3 above the docks, the 5 docks, 1 above the 2 docks, and then lights along the side elevation as well. So as far as the site goes and site improvements, they are actually adding green space. The staff report mentioned that new plans would be submitted between when we published it last week and today, and they have submitted what you see before you are the new revised plans. They're actually increasing green space compared to what was in the actual packet that you received last week. So almost just shy of 20,000 square feet of new green space. This is that second drive, This is the second driveway to the south where the semis will enter, and then they'll go through, and some new pavement was needed just to, give them sufficient turn space and that sort of thing. And then this is just kind of rough gravel shape right now, so they'll pave it or they'll add the new green space to the very south. They'll add some new green space here, and then this is along that concrete wall. So this is just kind of some zoomed in areas. On the north side where the silos are going, they're going to demolish, remove the railroad track and paving and replace with new concrete paving in this area here along the north side of the building. And then just a little closer detail, this is that south end that's kind of in rough shape. They'll either patch it, seal coat, asphalt, or remove and replace as they move further along the construction process. Which route they'll go to be determined, but it's just going to be quite the improvement to the site, and then again restore this area back to grass. So the new net impervious surface is less than 0, though therefore no on-site stormwater management is required per the engineering department. Otherwise, staff does recommend approval. There were 4 conditions in the report that was submitted to you. The second condition was to submit the revised plans. As I mentioned, that has been done already. And the third condition was an accidental copy and paste from a different item that should not have been in there. that was from the Lotus. So you can scratch those 2, and staff just recommends that condition 1 and 4 remain.
Okay, thank you, Christie. Does the applicant want to say anything or just wait on any possible questions? Okay. Okay. We'll have you wait then. Steve, you want to start us off?
Really don't have any questions. Looks good to me.
Ashley?
No questions, thank you.
Chris?
No question. This is gonna look good. Nice facelift.
Yeah. Don?
Yep, same here, no questions.
Fred? Chauncey?
I do have one question about the new truck entrance. I have that question for the applicant.
I'll need your name and address, sir.
Yes, Charles D. Bleck, 200 East Church Street, Libertyville, Illinois.
Okay, can you share the location of the prior truck entrance and what it's changing to?
Are you able to see this screen over here? Oh, you've got that.
Yeah, we have monitors up here, sir.
Okay, so the previous, I don't know if you could see the red dot.
You can see me
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's where the all access to the site was going through that access, and there were double loaded employee parking spaces, so perpendicular parking spaces. So it's a little wide, but there are still parking spaces for employees to the north and then to the south of that drive, but the trucks were going through there. So our proposal to do the architectural wall with the landscaping buffer really clips off that whole trucking access area to the back, to the east. It hides and obscures all the kind of trucking activities, and then we're shifting all of the truck access to the southerly entrance. So that's all primarily truck traffic down there. So it will be a lot safer for the users and employees of the property. In doing so, we do remove some of the old junk trees we have to add a little bit of paving where the holding warehouse is getting kind of pushed out to the south, so we have to add a little bit of new paving. So we displaced some existing, like, not so good trees, but we did have a landscape plan that addresses those tree replacements. So we have opportunity and have designed a bunch of new trees to go in and around the site, as well as along that architectural wall, so.
And another question, so is there any pedestrian traffic down there? Because there is a building down there, I just don't know what that building is for.
So
Is it storage?
The small building is a maintenance building, and they keep just kind of old things in their snow plows and that kind of thing. It's more for site maintenance, so it's not really a whole lot of activity in and around that building. We are adding some of the employee parking does come into that area to the north side of what is their current maintenance, independent maintenance isolated building. But overall, I think it's going to be a nice asset to that older industrial park, kind of a legacy industrial park, and I think it's going to look really good when it's done. There's a lot of, old pavement that's getting fixed, and then a lot of new trees that are going to be planted, and then not seeing all the industrial activities beyond. And I do want to add a side note. We will be coming before the Plan Commission again because we are looking at the front office area. It's not currently been submitted as an application, but we're looking at doing some improvements in and around the office area. So we may be adding some more glass and a nicer entrance and a better procession off that employee parking lot facing the street. So we will likely see you again soon.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Very quickly, I agree with Chris. Good facelift, and building's adequate. It just is a little dated.
I agree.
Just very quickly, garbage pickup. I know the gate thing was struck, but where's it located? Will it be in that new south lot where they'll come pick
So
it up?
they will have refuse kind of managed and collected within that compactor warehouse.
Oh,
So
so
it'll
it'll
be
be
wholly inside.
and they'll
Yeah,
Come
and
pull
then,
it out. Gotcha.
yeah. And they primarily make bread, so they make a lot of waste product that's food-based, so they like to manage that appropriately using best management practices, and that compactor addition functions for that.
You're gonna take the rail track out, get the silos in. How far back you gonna take it, to the end of the building, or just what's necessary to the pads? You're not gonna take it all the way back and
We're
to the
gonna,
spur to the woods, are you?
yeah, there's talk with management about potentially doing a full truck access around the property. We don't see the need for that right now, so the track spur is just going to get demoed as much as is shown on the plan. I would think over time, as things potentially ramp up, they may find the need to remove the entire track spur back to the railroad. It's not connected, that switch is not connected to the railroad right now anyways,
isn't? Okay.
so.
I wasn't even aware.
Yeah, so there's a hanging, there's a stop, and then there's a hanging arm, like a big steel arm.
Yep.
So all that's gonna go away,
Yeah, I go by there pretty regularly.
yeah.
And then I guess last question, and I'm assuming this. You've been through fire. They don't have any concerns.
Yeah, their only comment was just that that they don't narrow or restrict access for emergency vehicles. So with the south entrance still remaining open, that should not be an issue.
Okay. I have no further questions, so there's no further discussions or questions. Motion on 7A.
Oldani moves that the Plan Commission approve site and related plans submitted by Charles Black, Black & Black Architects, on behalf of Furlani Foods for construction of an addition and various site modifications to the property at 7350 South 10th Street with the following conditions. 1, that all relevant code requirements remain in effect, and 2, that all revised plans are submitted in digital format for review and approval by the Department of Community Development prior to the submission of permit applications.
Roll call beginning with Ashley.
Ibczynski, aye.
Gavich, aye.
Guzekowski, aye.
Oldani, aye.
Chandler, aye.
Ouch, aye.
Okay.
All right,
Good luck,
thank
sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
7B, we will review site and related plans submitted by Michael Peeney, MP Architects, on behalf of Lotus Restaurant for exterior modifications to the property at 9011 South Howell. Christie.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this is a application for facade improvements to the north facade of Lotus Asian Cuisine, zoned B4. Exterior modifications is just a simple site and architectural review. So picture on the top is as it is today, and then the rendering at the bottom is what the north elevation would look like with the modifications that they are requesting. So the material is a wood grain aluminum siding. The stone at the base is remaining, other than you can see on the left side of your screen, they're bringing the windows down to the ground level. So there in those particular locations, they'll be removing the existing stone. Other than that, the stone base is remaining. And the rendering does show like that rope lighting, but our code prohibits it. And I did work with the architect and he revised the plans. So the packet you have before you does not show that lighting. Then they're just replacing some old landscaping at the base on the north end. Other than that, pretty straightforward. I just want to mention that one of the two gate doors for the refuse enclosure is broken and off and laying on the ground. So we did ask for revised plans to just note that that door will be reconstructed and installed back on the refuse enclosure. I was expecting the architect. I don't think he's here. I did ask him to bring sample material, but not here this evening. Other than that, staff recommends approval.
Okay. Yep. With us, we'll go right to the commission. Let's start on my right. Commissioner Chandler.
I do have a quick question about the additional glass, and I may have missed it in the packet. To my understanding, there is a glazing requirement. So does this fall within that since we're
There's a
adding it?
glazing requirement in the Drexel Town Square PUD. As long as it's acceptable material, and then you need so much masonry, so much glass. It's percentage.
This shouldn't apply since it's just a renovation. Yeah.
I don't think we're
If
gonna get it.
anything, they're increasing
If
the
somebody
windows.
came in with like an all-concrete building, then we'd be like, hey, we need some glass, we need some aluminum. Break it up. But you're correct. The glazing is here at Town Square.
Thank you.
I learned something new.
It's in effect 40%. Tough to hit. Is that it?
Thank
Okay.
you.
Fred?
No questions.
Chris?
It looks good, no questions.
No questions.
Dave?
I like the facelift on the building. I think they kind of recommend if they do something more with the dumpster corral than just fixing the door. Since everything else is gonna look nice.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Just,
up to the plan commission.
I
Just
would
a
agree. It's
recommendation.
pretty rough and dated.
And have a nice looking building and then have, with the door fixed. Just a recommendation.
I agree with Steve. If you could get it to match, I could care less about the post. But, you know, you could match the wood grain of the siding. An acceptable material, which is wood masonry. Can you have a wooden closure?
No, not new.
So, yeah. What does that do to them then? Because this is actually a rebuild.
I mean, honestly, the plan commission gets to make those decisions. If you're comfortable with a rebuild and because it's not new construction, I would think that would be a reasonable request to forego the masonry requirements because this is not a new construction project. If you want the enclosure rebuilt.
My opinion, I would say, fine, rebuild it in wood.
Board on board.
Give it a facelift. We don't normally do that. We make it go masonry.
Right.
Seeing as it really needs just a repair and not a replacement. I don't know. Thoughts, commissioners?
Yeah, the door that's laying on the ground there looks like it's in really rough shape. So yeah, we obviously we don't want them to just hang that thing back up.
Right.
Yeah, and as far as the wood to the masonry, I'd be fine with a new wood structure. I think we need to make it clear if we're gonna ask them to just make ample repairs or a new wood structure. That one comes down and something new and fresh comes up.
Right.
I would vote for something new and fresh comes up.
I agree.
Okay, so the motion, when you make the motion, would be to include new construction of a new board-on-board refuse enclosure. If I'm understanding that correctly?
Just a quick question, what does new mean? That they tear everything down?
Well, I'd be
Yes.
okay saving the posts. You know, I guess I'd say the frame, but the siding of it, at least in my opinion on this one. You cut down those front two posts, so it looks like it belongs, you know, with the building. Hopefully that cooking oil.
Oh yeah,
But, you know, we did go to all masonry, just a little history on this, not to prolong the meeting, but, it's a running joke about dumpster fires, but we actually did have dumpster fires with the wood, and they were big problems at restaurants specifically because of cooking oil. And, it's really a candidate for it, so they're fortunate we're not going to masonry. But, you know, I'd respect that opinion. I don't want to put undue financial burden on them, but as long as you're going this far, you know, do it right. Okay.
Do we have many enclosures that are like steel fence?
They're allowed, but the fence has to be,
Like slatted?
oh yeah, slotted.
Slatted chain
oblique,
link,
what do they
yeah.
call it?
Slatted chain link fence.
So, I mean, and over time, you know,
Yeah.
those things get banged around.
They did.
And,
They
you know,
all
I
do.
mean, they serve their purpose, and obviously this one served its purpose. Yeah, different. So, anyways, Don, you still got the floor.
No, I was just kind of, you got me going with the fire aspect, and that's what made me think of that. I'm fine with the change as is.
Chris?
I am too.
Ashley?
No further comments, questions?
Okay, Steve?
Further?
Okay. Now I already put my 2 cents in with it. I think it's a good facelift, good modern look to it. Quite frankly, I like the bigger windows. It fits the atmosphere they're trying to get. So, okay, if there, a rebuild,
Mhm.
acceptable in wood to match the exterior.
Kristen, you want
They-
to word
they
that
could
in
do-
the
Actually,
motion?
they could do that in aluminum siding. They could take the aluminum siding.
Well, say a material to match the new facade. Yeah, if feasible, the aluminum siding, if not board on board. Okay.
Anyways, okay.
All right. I mean, I'm sorry, how are we stating that exactly?
Sure, so you can add, so condition number 3 says revised plans indicate the gate door and the existing trash closer be repaired. You could just say that, the enclosure be rebuilt, with either board on board or material to match the new facade. We got it in the minutes, it's on video.
All right. Oldani moves that the Plan Commission approve site and related plans submitted by Michael Peen, MP Architects, on behalf of Lotus Restaurant for exterior modifications on the property of 9011 South Howell Avenue with the following conditions. 1, that all relevant code requirements remain in effect. 2, that signs are not included in this approval and will need to obtain the proper permitting prior to installation. 3, that revised plans indicate the trash enclosure to be rebuilt to match facade of building. And 4, that all revised plans are submitted in digital format for review and approval by the Department of Community Development prior to submission of permit applications.
Okay. Roll call beginning with me, I guess. Aye.
Guzekowski, aye.
Oldani, aye.
Chandler, aye.
All jai.
Shinsky, aye.
That'll take us to item 7C. That's review site plan submitted by Joanna Robles, Opal Fuel, on behalf of UPS for the construction of a fueling station on the property at 6800 South 6th Street.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So Opal Fuels, on behalf of UPS, is proposing some minor site modifications to their property. It is zoned M1 manufacturing, and they're proposing to construct an equipment compound or fueling stations. So this is the site in the southern area that we're focusing on. And I mean, there's a lot going on in this property. You may recall this was before Plan Commission in February, and there were some floodplain modifications. The DNR signed off that the FEMA maps were indeed incorrect, and that this project is not impacted by the floodplain at all. It's not in the floodplain. Floodplain actually is kind of shown mapped inaccurately by FEMA. The DNR has signed off on that, so just verification that we're not dealing with any floodplain issues here. So their first part of the proposal is to construct an equipment compound. Rather than show you the technical plans, I'm just going to show you examples of existing ones. This is what it's going to look like. It's kind of hard and difficult to understand on an architectural plan, but you can see the compound and the equipment is surrounded by a chain link fence, and then obviously bollards surrounding it for safety purposes. So that's going to be located just south of their equipment building in the grass area with a very small detention pond just to the left of it. And then next you have these quick fuel stations. They are existing today. There's 3 of them, and again, this is just a sample picture of what these things look like. There's 3 of them and being reduced to 2 within each of those red rectangle areas. And then last is the area where you park the trucks and they're fueling overnight. They actually have these stations there today, but they're reconfiguring the parking. And again, this is what it's going to look like in the future. With the reconfiguration, is just going to be one straight line instead of multiple all over that section of the parking lot.
Same location.
Same location, yep. So again, these are the 4 areas we're talking about where they're making these modifications, and you probably wouldn't even see them unless you were truly inside the compound. So this is just a closer area. So the picture at the top right of your screen is what it looks like today south of that storage building. You can see it's sloped to the south, so they do have to construct a retaining wall on the south end and raise it a little bit to make it a flat surface for that outdoor equipment compound. Other than that, that's the gist of the project. That's all they're proposing to do. So conditions 2 and 3 are just a notation about, the floodplain modifications, if applicable. We have provided the DNR statement that the floodplain is not located in this area, and we've provided statements from UPS's previous engineer, and then we shared it with Opal Fuels engineer. So just want to make sure everyone's on the same page, but conditions 2 and 3 existed just to cover our bases, that, if for some reason there's some determination that impacts the floodplain that they must take care and get the approval from the appropriate parties.
Okay. Applicant, want to say anything before we start up? Anything? Okay. Which way we want to go? Who's ready? Fred, you ready? Well, we'll need your name and address, sir.
Brandon Rapallo, 14317 Woodland Drive in Fontana, California. There's no change to the current traffic. We're not adding any trucks. They're just converting them to CNG. So the current traffic will remain the same. It is. It is 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Okay. Ashley?
No questions from engineering.
Okay. Going all over the place. How about Chauncey?
That's okay.
Keep you on your
Just
toes.
to understand, what is a CNG?
So CNG is compressed natural gas. So the same gas that goes to your house, we just take that, compress it to a high pressure, and use that as the fuel. So it's an alternative clean fuel.
Oh, okay.
They're going from diesel to CNG.
So that's the reason for the change,
That's
with the fuel stations that are there?
Correct.
Okay,
They currently have diesel. I think there is a correction that needs to be stated. We're not reducing how many diesel dispensers they have. We're just adding CNG to it. So that, those diesel islands will still be there. We're just adding a CNG dispenser to it.
thank you.
Don?
No questions.
Steve?
No questions?
Chris?
No questions.
No, I don't got nothing for you either. I'm sure you're conferring with fire. Meet all NFPA 70 needs. Plan's got to be submitted. All inspections will take place. So I don't have much, and this is something you never give thought to. You see
Right.
UPS trucks everywhere. They need fuel. And, you never see them at gas stations. So they're doing their thing. So it's a good thing to see that they're going a little greener.
Absolutely.
Okay, I got nothing then. If there's no further discussion, motion, please.
Thank you.
Guzekowski, a second.
Okay, roll call, beginning with Chris.
Guzekowski, aye.
Hold aye.
Chandler, aye.
Ouch, aye.
Kupczynski, aye.
Gavich, aye. Okay. That'll actually get us to announcements and adjournment. Have any announcements other than welcome to fall?
It's here.
You got something?
Yeah, just two brief comments. So our new senior planner starts on Monday. His name is Todd Rail, and Todd is a current planner at the Village of Caledonia. Ironically, he and I went to grad school together 20 years ago, so I do know Todd. He's worked for Kenosha County and Sewer Pack, and then he's been in the real estate world for a while as well. So he'll be joining us, our team, and we'll be at the October meetings, and eventually we'll transition him to kind of run the Plan Commission meetings once he's comfortable. And I think that his comfort level is going to be pretty quick. He runs the Plan Commission meetings at Caledonia, and he has done this before in other municipalities as well. So Todd starts Monday, and then Melanie will be on leave for some time. I am hoping she returns in January. And then we'll be fully staffed. So I'm losing one and gaining one the same week. But we should be back to fully staffed sometime in January, hopefully.
In good shape, and Melanie is expecting her first child, so it's
Awesome.
it's a nice way to be out.
Yeah.
Speaking from experience myself, but but we all wish her well.
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
with that, motion to adjourn. Somebody.
Guzekowski make a motion to adjourn at 6:41.
Roll call, beginning with Don.
Oldani, aye.
Chandler, aye.
Ouch, aye.
Shinsky, aye.
Kavich, aye.
Guzekowski, aye.
Okay. Night, everybody. Thank you very much. Have a great week.